All right. Hello, everyone. I have an exciting guest with me today, Zack McNally from Florida. He is the owner of Bayside Media, a video production company. He joined the Next Level Creators program a little over 2 months ago, and he's already over six figures in contracts that he signed and brought on. So that's over $8,000 a month. Zack is excited to share his story with you. And before I jump into this, Zack, welcome, of course. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the
Of
time to share your experience and journey with everyone. But
course.
we spoke. We spoke a little over a year ago, and
Yeah.
you decided you didn't want to join. What what happened for you between that year and just 2 months ago that made you decide this is what I really want to do? I want to be in Next Level Creators.
Well, at that point, I came across your program, and at the time, it made sense, even though I didn't capitalize on it. But I was in a different market. I was a different space. I was the guy that was saying yes to everything.
Hmm.
Like this. We got a dentist office over here needs headshots. We got a wedding over here. We got all different kinds of things. And I had just moved from Wisconsin, where I had my company there, which was very small potatoes. And I moved down here and I rebranded. And I was like, I want to get into commercial level stuff. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. But at the time, the biggest paying gigs I had was weddings, photo and video.
Yeah.
And your program that I came across at that time was geared towards, wedding photographers, videographers. And, I really wanted to get into it. But at the same time, I also didn't want to invest that time and money into something that isn't a category I didn't want to stay in.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, as much as I see the value here, Paul, and, we got conversations, I just don't think that it's the right move this time. And I'm glad I didn't because, I pivoted after that and got into much bigger and better things. And then I came across your program that we have now. And it was like, okay, this is exactly what I need.
Yep.
So
So commercial campaigns were what called out to you. And you said when you saw that, you knew this is the real level of clientele you want to be working with and the types of projects you want to be uh, directing and facilitating, right?
exactly. And also in between the time when I first made contact with you and recently, my office is in a co-work space, which is really hip. It's downtown. There's lots of different individual and shared offices. So at any given time, there's all different kinds of people coming through there. And it's like a hub of entrepreneurs, right? So surrounded by these people, which was the best thing I could have done at that time. But I ran into somebody who was doing digital marketing and he was kind of just getting started. And I was kind of, I saw him every day. We would talk about what we were working on, what projects I was working on, what projects he was working on. And I saw him progress and learn all these skills and bring value to clients that, he was aiming to do and then do it over and over. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, that is the key because, all of us video creators and photographers, media producers, sorry, I'm outside. We've been delivering great products and content to our clients, but we're doing a disservice to them by not implementing it. You can't find an actual value on a video that you create if you just create it and hand it to them. But if you say, I'm going to create this video and then I'm going to put it into some ads and then we're going to spend some money and we're going to test it and optimize it. And then a month from now, we're going to have a great idea of exactly how much money we can make you off of what you invest. And providing that value and that level of service is what I always wanted, but I never had the skills to do. So that was kind of like watching this guy in the office, study and watch every YouTube tutorial and everything he was doing out there. He slowly progressed, not nearly as quick as I did with your
Yeah.
program, but I still saw like, wow, that's what I need to do. So when I came across your program, I was like, I'm doing all of this front end stuff, but I'm not doing anything on the back end. And this looks like the way to bridge the gap. So that's when I
Yeah.
pulled it.
Interesting. And so for you, prior to joining Next Level Creators, the real struggle was you were doing these videos. They were all project to project. And
Yep.
I know because we've had a ton of conversations since you've been in the program. You have a bunch of other video creators that you work with who are talented, right? Like high quality
Yep.
video.
Yep.
And so you've got a bunch of people coming to you with these video projects already, wanting the people your team to produce these videos. Um, Talk about what it's been like now that you started to offer commercial campaigns instead. Well, how have your clients started to see you differently? How have the conversations changed?
Well, the first thing I can say is that they love me now. They don't just like me. You know, they're just elated every time we talk, and I get emoji, smiley faces, and text messages, and I never got that level of connection with my clients before. So that was rewarding for me. That's job satisfaction when you're that close to your clients to become friends. But the second thing was all my jobs and my clients that I worked with before that were happy with my work, they 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 weren't as motivated prior to continue to reach out to do more things on a regular basis, because it was like, okay, we have this great video that improves our image, we got an ego boost, but they don't really see any value in it. So for me to go to them and ask them for several $1,000s over and over every month without saying, hey, that video worked out so good and we tracked everything, well, they weren't. So it was very gig to gig, and I had no way of budgeting. And yes, I got some great gigs here and there, and it was like, wow, there's a chunk of money, that's awesome. But then there's dry spells, and there's no predictability, and there's no consistency. And so why me going back to these same clients and saying, hey, let's do a new fresh project, and then I want to bring implementing and distributing to basically improve your bottom line. I want to put an ROI on what you're doing right here between you and I. Because before, you saw the value because you like my work. Okay, that's great. But now I want to show you how I can prove that I'm making you money with them. And that in itself that's the key. That is the most powerful way of getting all of your hard work in front of everybody and actually showing this business that you're growing it for them,
we talk about that all the time, the win-win nature of your relationship with your clients. And, when I look at video production in the traditional video industry, when I first started doing videos, you don't realize that when you go into a business and you're selling just a video production, it really is like you're trying to steal a slice of their pie. They've got this company, and it's only so big, and then you're coming in there saying, hey, I want to produce a video, it's going to be this, that, and you want it to be as big as possible. So that way you make as much money for that one gig. And then that person's pie is just getting smaller and smaller. But when you go and offer a commercial campaign, I like to think of it as, hey, listen, I see you've got this pie. It's going great right now. Your business is doing well. I want to help you make the pie bigger so we can both eat more. And so that way we can both get full and also service your customers better. Like, that is such a different relationship that I've found with our personal clients that we run commercial campaigns for, and of course the ones that you've gotten so far, which is terrific. And so you've been doing this for 2 months. How many clients have you brought on for commercial campaigns so far?
1, 2, 3, 4, but I swear I'm forgetting one. Okay, I got one on the fence, so 4.5. We'll call it 5 because I'm gonna get them.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're on the fence, but we're already past foreplay. We're negotiating a contract. So and he bugged me today. He's like, can we do this? Can we, like, I know I said a week, but do you think we can do it sometime this weekend? Like, I literally talked to him today, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, this is the exciting part, because they see the value in it so much that he's like, I want you to give us 2 options. Option A, you charge us for all the different services that you bring to the table at what you would normally charge. And then option B, discount everything, and we give you a share in the company. Because if you're gonna launch us out there, we want to take you along for the ride, because I've already done business for one of that client's other companies.
Sure.
So that was really exciting. So yeah, so far we'll call it 5.
Yeah. So that's a different type of deal as well than you're probably familiar with,
Yep, absolutely. That was a shocker, but I'm embracing it. So
good. And so when you're looking at the old business that you were running, Bayside Media, before really running commercial campaigns, what were some of the struggles or biggest problems that you were having that you think other video creators might be able to connect with?
Okay, so first and foremost, everybody thinks that they need to have the best gear out there. Well, it helps, but at the end of the day, what I've learned from your class is a lot of marketing strategy that can make even a mediocre video 10 times more powerful. So first of all, don't obsess over all of your gear. Yes, have something that's a little bit above consumer level, but if you're already, a professional in video, then you already have the gear. But if you're on the fence and you only have some gear, just invest in a decent DSLR and some decent lenses and lighting and audio, but don't go crazy, because the campaign commercials that you're going to be doing for these people aren't going to be insanely advanced. You're not doing TV commercials. But the important part is that you take the strategies that you learn through your course and then you apply them all the way through. So that's one thing that a lot of people ask about. What do you shoot on? How do your videos, what do you do this? Well, it's up to everybody's style. And if you're at least at a prosumer level, then that's good enough to make an impact. The second thing is, going gig to gig. That's the struggle that I think everybody has in this industry that hasn't figured this out yet. And that is, you have 1 month where you have 10 gigs. That's maybe high. Maybe you got 6 gigs, and then next month you're like, all right, I'm going to call those guys up and we're going to do some more work. Well, they get hard to get a hold of, or they don't have the budget, or they don't really are motivated to do it. And you can't say, yeah, but I'm going to do a video even better. Well, they don't really care that much, So the gig to gig thing is really hard for you to not only maintain consistent budget, but to scale. There's no scalability whatsoever in that, and so just the value of being able to have monthly retainer contracts where you're on a regular basis creating new content and bringing new business in for them and bringing new business in for yourself. I mean, that is something that I don't know how it didn't dawn on me all these years working on the stuff, but that's the secret sauce. Even though there is no secret sauce, that's just the strategy that is most effective. So let's see what else, if there's anything else. Just be confident. A lot of people struggle and they have, these great opportunities, but they're really timid about asking for money. And what I've found is, don't be scared to ask for money. In fact, the cheaper that you price yourself, the less value you're actually putting on yourself. So, you go into a meeting and you would be happy with $2,000, right? You'd be like, okay, that's good. And you don't want to put yourself into that box, because you can never negotiate up. You can always negotiate down. So that's another thing. I come in a little aggressive every time, a little high. What I think is what I would get. And then, they're always going to have pushback. But if you stand your ground and then you reiterate the value of it and you're just genuine with them and you're like, look, man, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but if you give me this opportunity to show you how I can grow your business and it works and it's predictable and scalable, would you not want to double down on it afterwards? I mean, use that Jordan Belfort line. If I put you in at 32 and pulled you out at 65, would you be mad about it? That kind of thing. But the bottom line is, I was really timid. I mean, not this last couple of years. Since I moved to Florida, I was like, I don't really care. I went for it. But 4 years before that, I was really timid and I was really, like, okay, this is the first one. I'll give you a deal on this first one. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because once you do that, then it's really hard to go up from that. And I know you want to help them out and you want to get that client. You really do. And you want to do whatever it takes to get that client. But stand your ground and be confident. And, say your number and then don't say anything. And just wait.
You've learned on that one. Say your number and then silence.
Yep. And then they think about it and then they only have to answer with something as a rebuttal. But that's a lot of that's a lot of people struggle with that. Myself, I was one of the biggest ones, but you learn to really go for it and do not undervalue yourself.
Confidence is a difficult thing because it's one of those things that a lot of people, I think, they look at people who seem to have a lot of confidence, and psychologically, we compare ourselves to other human beings all the time, right? The moment I start looking at someone else, I start feeling bad about my own life, because they've got more, they're funnier, they're happier, there's all these different things. So I'm comparing myself, and all of a sudden I'm not comfortable with who I am anymore. So to play that comparison game is very difficult. It's very dangerous as well.
Yeah.
And confidence is a really big thing, because Confidence comes from your own experience, from your own belief in yourself. And most people, they don't have many experiences because they don't push themselves outside of that comfort zone very often.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
so when I think about confidence, especially in this field, it's very difficult if you're going out to sell a video that is essentially just trying to take someone else's money in a sense, like, hey, I want to charge as much as possible for this. But it's much easier to do it when you're looking at it from a win-win perspective. And I found that when you can tie your value to something that's not you, but something else, confidence is almost like it just radiates out of you. Because, hey, if every dollar you spend with me, I make you 5 in return, why wouldn't you want to spend more? Right? That confidence should radiate out of everyone. Because if you can do that, every person you work with, you are delivering a massive benefit to, a massive service to.
Absolutely. And to touch on that, the comparing yourself to other people, yeah, that's poisonous. Don't do that. Because when I got here, I was like, oh, this whole agency over here is doing all this awesome stuff, and they're doing all this awesome stuff, and I have this like little tiny bundle of gear, and I'm renting an office I can barely afford, and I was like, man, everybody's doing so good, and I felt crappy about it. But at the end of the day, I realized there's no way that you're ever going to gain anything if you don't try it. And in that comfort zone, that's where you never want to be. You be right. This is where the magic happens, right over here. So I've learned to live outside of this. I want to be over here. I want to be thrown at the wolves. I want to push myself to do something I haven't done before. And make it till you make it sometimes, that's really, you got to do that. But just having the ability to stand up and basically say, we're going to do this. It's not a debate on whether or not we're going to do this. It's how and when we're going to do this.
So a question for you on that then. Did, not having the confidence, the experience in delivering commercial campaigns before, after you joined Next Level Creators, what was your confidence level at once you made that decision and you joined? Was it higher? Were you just ready to go?
Paul, I can't tell you how many aha moments I had going through the course. Like, I can tell you put so much effort into that and so much research. And, I can't imagine how many people you worked with to get all that together. But it was like all these burning questions that I didn't have written down on the list were just answered as I went through it. And I'm not just making this bullshit up, to just, stroke your ego or build, a commercial or anything. Like, that's really what it was. I was going through it and I was like, oh my God. I've always needed to know that. And that makes total sense about this over here. And then if this means this, then that means that it's your deductive reasoning, and all that other. So yeah, going through it, I gained so much more confidence just because I had the knowledge that I was lacking. And you can watch 50 YouTube videos about the same thing and get 50 different answers. And then when I, was going through your course, I was like, okay, this makes logical sense. I applied it and it got results. And I was like, all right, so this is exactly what I needed to figure out, and trying to figure it out on your own, good luck. That's going to take forever. I would rather invest my money into something that I know is going to benefit me, which is why these businesses want to invest money with me, because I'm going to benefit them. Same thing, different ballgame. But yeah, as I was going through, and I'm still not finished, I'm near the end, but even the first month, I was like, okay, here's an opportunity. I can do A or B. I could go A. I'll make you a video because you're interested in making a video. We can do that. And I wash my hands, see you later. Maybe I'll call you next month. Or I go for it. And I say, I'm going to make you a video, but are you guys doing Facebook ads or any kind of Google marketing? Are you doing any of that? We want to. We thought about it. We started a Facebook page. We made an event for our VIP party and all this other stuff. But I'm like, do you have somebody actually creating ads and generating, with direct sales, more business? Do you have anybody doing it? No. Okay, so I want to give you guys a deal on a video and ongoing management, and I'll tell you why. And then I went into, the reasons and the benefits of it, and they were like, yeah. So the funny story is, my first client already had an agency, a big agency, a Google partner agency, right? And I was like, oh. And they didn't tell me that at first. They said, yeah, we want to do it, but we haven't really figured it out. Well, they already did that. They already signed a contract. In our second meeting, they told us that. And I said, okay, well, it's not what you said the first time, but what are they doing? And they're like, well, they're doing the Google AdWords and they're doing the Facebook ads. and, they're managing all that stuff. And I said, okay, do you have, just out of curiosity, because I know, some things about this, I just want to see what they're doing for you and if you're getting a good deal, because I want to help you either way, whether or not we work together. I'm just curious to see what they're offering you. And they're like, yeah, we'd love a second opinion. So then they went and they showed me their contract. And I was like, well, first of all, you're going to have them manage all the people that come in and contact. Well, you're the owner of, your business. You're going to want somebody that you don't even know in Nashville or probably in India answering all of your text messages or all of your Facebook messages. And they were like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, think about it. If some lady's mad about a review, do you want them to answer it or do you want to just snuff the fire immediately? Like, okay, that's a good idea. I'm like, well, they're charging you $800 a month just to do that. So that's one way you can save money. Over here, they're doing this. Okay, they got the Facebook ads. What are they actually doing and how often? And they go through it. And I was like, okay, so this is very ambiguous. They're not telling you exactly anything they're doing about any strategies whatsoever. They're just like, Facebook, $1,500. And I was like, I don't know, man. So they're like, you know what? We're going to a conference in Tampa, and we are going to be meeting them. And they are a sponsor of this tech conference.
Sure.
And we'd like you to come along with, And if they ask, you're our marketing manager. Just come along and then give us your feedback on what they say. So I had a meeting literally with their old digital marketing agent, and she clearly was a salesman and didn't know anything about the whole process. She didn't know anything about the specifics because I gave them questions to ask her before based on what I learned from your course like the prior week. And because I knew it and understand it, and I was like, okay, this makes sense and I can back myself up. If they ask me these questions, I can back it up. And so they went into it and she just didn't have a straight answer for anything. And then we went over the ads that they created, and you can tell that they were outsourced to India because they didn't make any sense. There was like a large balding guy in a spa ad. Like, how is that going to grab anybody's attention? And the copy was grammatically terrible. And so I was like, you guys, can you get any way of getting out of this contract? Because I'd like to help you and I'll give you a great deal, and I'm not going to make you do a long-term 1-year thing. You feel it out, and if you're happy with me, then we'll go that route. And after we get established, maybe we'll have renegotiated on what the value is and everything. And like, yeah, it sounds great. So they got on the phone. They're like, look, yep, we want our money back, and if you don't get our money back, we're gonna have problems because we're gonna go other direction. So then they went with me, and I took on all that responsibility. And within the first month, after setting up my first ads, and I went through and I looked at all the KPIs and I saw what was working. Okay, this copy and this photo was working. This one's doing absolutely nothing. And this one's going crazy over here. And these two have this, and this in common, this, and this in common. I turned off everything else. I doubled down on all those. I duplicated those ads, ran them some more. And I was at the spot a day, and the manager was telling the owner in front of me, she's like, I can't respond to these calls fast enough. Like, we're already at capacity for our VIP party.
That's great.
They're like already at capacity. He's like,
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And I was like, just following the simple steps, because it makes logical sense. But going through all of that, they're just elated. Like, they're so happy, because this is their baby, this is their baby. And they trusted me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and we'll do it on a trial period. Ongoing, I'd like to, negotiate an ongoing thing. And then for the other branches that they're opening. And they said, absolutely. So it was like a dream come true, because I was actually able to deliver. I feel good about it. They're happy about it. And then it's going to scale further. Oh, and on top of that, another little cherry on top. This is a franchise. And I got on a conference call with the at the time, I didn't know this, the COO of the franchise, which is, they have thousands of locations across the country, right? I didn't know he was a COO. And I was talking to him about the landing pages and how garbage they were, and how bad all the errors that I found on their website and the user experience, and this, that, and the other. I literally made a list on my tablet, and on the phone call with all 4 of them, I wasn't a dick, but I was very blunt about it. I was like, look, man, they hired me to do a service for them, and I understand that their franchises are only these right here, but your entire corporate structure is affecting them and everybody else. So here's what I had to suggest that we fix right now. And I went through everything. And after that, I talked to the owner, and the owner was like, wow, I got to say, you got some balls. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I mean, he was a COO, right? And I was like, I thought he was an IT guy. I thought he was the web guy. Like, no, he's like second or third in command over the entire massive conglomerate. And then he calls them back and says, can we work out a way that he can do our marketing on a corporate level and also do our videos too, because they sent him my videos.
Yeah.
And they came to me with that. And I was like, absolutely, but I want to make sure that you guys are serviced. So if you're paying me to do this stuff right now, they should be paying me. And you shouldn't have to do this if they're going to use it across all platforms. You know, they should be co-sponsoring your marketing budget if they're going to be using it everywhere else. And they're like, absolutely. So it's like, all right, well, let's negotiate some terms and then everybody wins. So it was a small victory that turned into a massive victory. And that's just one client. It was like, wow. And then after that, it's addictive because you're just like win after win after win after win. Like, and I am able to explain all this stuff because I understand it for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I do like this much. And now that I've gone through it and I've figured everything out, like it's making sense. And I'm like, all right.
Right now, the energy, the vibe that I'm getting from you, Zach, is like you're a firework that was just lit. It just got shot out of the cannon, but it hasn't exploded yet. It's still just going up. That's the energy that I'm getting.
That's how I feel.
Which is awesome. Like that, it's such an exciting thing when you've been doing something. And how long have you been in the video world?
I've been in the video world I was in photography specifically first, and then I segued into video a few years ago. So I would say for sure 4 years. That was probably the first video that I did that was actually professional. Yeah. Before that, I was doing photos, and yeah, we'll say 4 years.
Oh, so even so, 4 years. You could span it back further, but this time that you spent and invested in this energy and this passion that you had to master something, to learn this art form, to be able to take it to people and share and collaborate and learn. And that's one of the biggest reasons we all get into this creative field in the first place. Absolutely. And now for you to start to learn and master the business skills and pair those two things together. I always think of it as like a tool belt. Like you've invested so much of your energy into mastering the tools for creativity. Now you've added this second pouch on that tool belt and you put in these new tools for business and you master those as well. You just skyrocket. And that's what I'm getting from you right now. It's this amazing feeling. It's beautiful.
It's hilarious you said tool belt because I use that. I used to be a carpenter. I use that as a tool belt. And sometimes people ask me, well, can you do this? I'm like, no, but I got a guy in my tool belt. Yeah. You know? It's like when I was flipping houses way back in the day, trying to pay for all the cameras that I was buying when I first started out. You know, we had what we called a tool belt, and we had a good plumber, a good electrician, a good drywaller, you know? Yeah. And then you brought all these skills together, and then you built a house. So same analogy. It's hilarious you use that.
Yeah. So now that we know where you are, I mean, you've got 4 clients, you're already making over 6 figures, you're only 2 months in. Where do you see yourself in the next 12 months? Where are you going to take Bayside Media?
You know, I actually can't even put a limit on it. I can't even put a cap on it. The things that I've gotten into are pretty big, and I can't really talk about some of them, but at the end of the day, what I'm going to do in the next 12 months is going to be more significant than my entire career. If that says anything. I mean,
that puts a stamp on it.
They don't teach you any business skills in art school. So it's pretty much like, you know, here you go, you know how to do something, but you know how to do the rest of it. Good luck. But, you know, now that I have these business skills and I have had a personal interest in, you know, developing more business skills and knowledge along the way because I knew it was important, but I never realized how vital it was to growth. Like you literally you plateau and you can't get anywhere else without having the skills and the knowledge and, you know, the gumption to go after it, but mainly the skills and the knowledge to take what you know how to do best and convert it into a business valuable package, something that, you know, you can actually deliver over and over and scale over and over. Like the possibilities are limitless now. And before it was such a struggle and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I feel like I'm a perfectionist most of the time and I may not have the greatest videos or the greatest photos or anything else, but I feel like I'm pretty confident in it. But why am I struggling so much when there's so much opportunity everywhere? And the more that I studied your class, the more I realized that there's a whole nother section that I just didn't even know about. And it's like hitting the fast track. It's like you're on a drag strip and you hit boost on your turbo. And it's like, you're like, that's what it felt like. And then once you go up, there's no way you're going back,
Yeah. Yeah, you're a new
Wow.
person. You have the skills, you have the tools, and then you can just keep going from there, keep building. So that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I mean, I'm at the point right now where I'm like, one of my top priorities is to figure out how to get all these people in place to work for me. Like I literally never had to hire people before than assistant, maybe at most 4 people, for a major shoot. But now I'm like, okay, with this client over here, they're literally bringing me 150 clients through their company that they're already servicing on a different type of marketing platform. And they're going to online video and they want me to do all of it. And there's no way that I can, in the next 6 months, shoot 150 plus videos on my own. So I brought in every good video guy that has been working for me on, jobs here and there. And I'm like, what would it look like in the next couple of months if I brought you like 2 to 3 things to do every week, And that's just one client. And then I have this other one over here that has 3 more, franchises that are going to need to be serviced. And that's not that big of a deal. Like I can handle that. But over here, we have this new piece of software they're going to bring to market. And that is going to need an entire marketing team because it's going to be so huge. But that's kind of a complicated thing to explain. But I mean, the clients that I'm just, straightforward doing videos and doing their online marketing, those things all have potential to go from here to here. And I'm basically having to plan ahead. I'm having to, when you're playing pool, you got to be two or 3 shots ahead of the guy that you're playing to win. And so right now I'm thinking like 2 months, 3 months ahead of now because these things are falling into place and we're executing and we're moving on this plan of action. So that's also something that I'm having to learn, delegation, but that's the key to scaling. But that's exciting. But I mean, just the fact that I had a few opportunities and I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do this how I've always done it. I'm going to do this the PX way. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to deliver this proposal and I'm going to make them see the value in it, and honestly, it wasn't that difficult. There was very little pushback. There were some questions which I promptly answered, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the difference of having a steady paycheck that you're growing versus not knowing when the next one's coming and what it's going to be. It's just night and day. Like, yeah, that's it. It's outstanding.
So for anyone who just watched this, who got to learn from your story, who may be in a similar situation, maybe they're struggling with one of the things you mentioned. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's they're working gig to gig right now doing video production. Maybe they've just moved and they're comparing themselves to all the other amazing video crews around with the big fancy equipment. And they're trying to figure out, how do I differentiate myself? How do I break out? How do I actually provide for my family with this creative skill set that I have and that I want to do? Would you recommend the Next Level Creators program to them, and why?
Yep, 1,000%. I would recommend it. And a few reasons for that is it's not only a course that shows you how to grow your business in generalities. It's a course that shows you how to develop skills that aren't directly related to video production and to digital marketing, but just invaluable business skills like your time management and, the surrounding yourself. That's something I firmly believe in, is you become who you surround yourself with. And you have to surround yourself with people that are doing better than you or are more successful than you, because in order to keep up with them, you have to push yourself. If you're hanging out with people that are down here and you know that your skill set is higher than them, or they're going out to the bar all the time or whatever, like this is a course that will not only focus your energy and the power of focus, it will show you how to take your skill set that you have now, grow that, and then take this business section and then grow that, and then the entire thing combined is like where everybody ultimately wants to go. So you have skills that are in business and negotiating and time management and just personal development, And that's all things that I've been very, focused on. But, this is kind of like the Reader's Digest of the important stuff. And then the digital marketing is just, it's so powerful, because having the ability to put a value on what you're doing is the difference of having a tiny company that makes you $60K a year and barely pays your bills and gives you endless anxiety and stress, and you never have, peace of mind that you're killing it, and you're never, that's the difference between that and then taking your skills and then being stoked every day because what you're working on is growing and that there's more opportunity. Like before I was like, man, I don't really know what I'm going to do over here, over here, over here. But all of a sudden you're like, I can make money there. I can help him and make money there. I can make money there, and I can help him and make money there or her there. So the program I absolutely recommend for several reasons. So that's it. I mean, if you're down here and it seems like a bunch of money, I thought so too. It's more than paid for itself. It will continue to pay for itself. So invest in yourself. If you're on the fence, if you want to do something, if you're proactive, you have that drive, this is going to give you the ability to springboard into success. So take the plunge, study hard, and, focus. Cut all of the distractions out of your life and literally see what you can do. Put yourself to the test. Test yourself. Because that's what I did. And, maybe my friends think I'm deceased or non-existent. I see them once in a while. But every time I hang out with them again, it's like no time has ever passed. So don't worry about that. Leaving the things that aren't making you money over here and focus on what's going to make you money and what's going to bring you to the next step. Using Paul's program is it. I mean, just do it. Literally do it. If you have any questions, just call me. I'll tell you.
I love how you said challenge yourself, because that honestly, that really is what it is. I mean, when I think about it, like what's in the program is not easy by any means. Like, it is very difficult because you have to be focused. You have to, in a sense, sacrifice. But when you're willing to do it, when you're willing to cut everything that isn't servicing you, isn't helping you be the highest version of yourself, and you're ready to take things to that next level, that's when it's time to challenge yourself. That's when it's time to invest in yourself and go all in. So I love hearing your story. I love seeing your firework energy. It is just, I mean, it's astounding. And I can't wait to do another one of these interviews in a couple of years. And at that point in time, we'll be talking about where the tens of millions are coming from for you, and who the next hires are going to be for you. So very exciting times.
We'll go boat racing.
Awesome, Zack.
Just don't be afraid. Just literally challenge yourself. And something that you think may seem impossible or really difficult to do, just try it. Just literally put everything you have into it. I mean, I'm working in private jets and yachts and stuff. I didn't even know anything about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it, because the worst I can get is a no. And I got yeses. And even after 150 no's, I still have a couple of yeses here and there. Now with all this knowledge, I get a lot more yeses. So that's something to think about too.
Awesome, Zack. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We'll go ahead and thank you all for watching. If you have any questions for Zack, as he said, you can find him on Facebook at Zack McNally. I might link his profile, if he is okay with that, in the comment section somewhere below, above here.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you guys start blowing me up, then just go to my company. Go to Bayside Media.
But awesome, everybody. Thanks for watching. And until next time.